On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
It's only the hit dog that hops, bro. So when you see all of these people getting all up in arms, you know it actually resonates with them, regardless of whether or not they're going to admit it or not on here. And again, weak people make weak opinions and they make excuses as to why they can't do the work and get to where it is that they need to be. That's really what it comes down to, bro.
If you guys are just joining us, welcome to Lapeef, Let's Talk. Moving on to our second topic. It's going to be a good one. How tall are you? Dress size. How much do you weigh? How many kids do you have? Okay, let me ask this. The last time you stepped on a scale, how much did it weigh? Why are people so angry with Kevin Samuels? That's the next topic. Why are people so angry with Kevin Samuels? I'm gonna kick it off. I've been having a lot of conversations with different people, and when I do have these conversations, they say you're starting to sound like Kevin Samuels, or you sound like Anton. You guys on that Kevin Samuels shit, or I just don't understand it. Even Tawana, I know she put something inside our Facebook group, and it was just a lot of back and forth. So it seems to be that some people have an issue with Kevin Samuels, and a lot of times that as I'm reading this, people have not even listened to his show. They just hear like bits and pieces of it. And so I've explained to them, if you listen to the whole show in its entirety, that you can kind of get a better understanding as to why he says certain things. If you just hear only part of it, how can you judge him? How can you tell him that he's not a professional, or he doesn't have a background, he doesn't have a degree? But when I listened to the show, he did highlight how he ran some ministries in the church when it came to like relationships and marriages. So, and I think people need to understand that even your professionals need help. I've had situations where I've known people that do help other people, but then they also are toxic themselves. So I just want to kind of get you guys' opinions about it. I already have an idea of where this might go, but I'm just curious. Why are people so angry with Kevin Samuels? B Nix.
I think I don't even dislike him as a person. I actually appreciate his story on how he got to where he is now. I'm all about the journey. The fact that, not to say he came from the mud, but hey, he built himself up to be who he is right now. For anybody that follows the show, my pet peeve is always the delivery of information.
What?
It's a way in which you have to talk to people, in order for folks to receive you. And I think that this is an example of, it's an audience that does cater to this type of rhetoric and this tonation and how you speak to people. But it's not the majority, So, I mean, my issue is more so in which how he presents information, the tone, the delivery, kind of the antics, the facial expressions, the hand gestures. It leads is more of a put down, because I mean, almost if we was to remove Kevin Samuels' name from everything you just said, JR, crazy. The first thing I thought of, like, man, that's the same way people talk about Trump. That you got people that defend him because of not the content of what he's saying. They say like, hey, but this is what he meant. It's like, I don't think that when I speak to people, there should never be a case where I need a translator for somebody to say, well, this is what B. Nix meant to say. This is what Brandon intended to say. Well, this is how he talked, but this is what he was trying to let you know. Like, for me, his message gets skewed and muddy based on his delivery. It comes off as very kind of arrogant, is come off as kind of, like I mentioned in the past, that less than language, that
What?
there's a level of superiority that I'm speaking from and you're not at a certain level, but that's his audience, So the thing is, He's giving the people what they want. You know, the same way we talk about rappers. May say, why do rappers rap that way? He's giving the people what they want. You know? So the thing is like, hey, that's his hustle. He has the people that calls in that supports him. That's cool. Same
Nick,
thing with Trump and everybody else that I probably dislike, but it's the delivery for me.
Next, when you say that he's giving them what they want, what is that? The truth?
Entertainment.
It's the truth. And why can't it be the truth?
Well, yeah. I mean, even with stereotypes, it's still rooted in some type of truth. So it's not like he's creating things out of thin air. But, you know, I think that he caters to an audience that wants to be told, you know, these lessons from a stranger, you know, which is fine. But I mean, it's just what I said earlier is that I don't have an issue necessarily with the content. My biggest issue with him is the delivery. And the thing is, like, hey, Anton, I love you, brother. But I know when me and you first met, that was one of the things I always said. I was like, I don't necessarily disagree with you on what you're saying, but the how you say it, because it rubs me the wrong way. And it's something just kind of like an organic feeling that I get. It's kind of like, who the hell you think you are? That's the first thing I think of. And I don't do that just with Kevin Samuels or Anton, John Doe, or whoever else. But it's like, hey, you have to present information in a way where people are able to receive. It's like, even in a relationship at work, if you yelling at somebody or if you talking down to somebody, then how do you expect me to listen to you, right? It's like, yeah, I hear you talking, but I'm not necessarily comprehending what you're saying. So I think that a lot of times that Kevin Samuels, he misses a broader audience because of his delivery of how he states his material.
You say he's talking down on people, you think?
Oh, I know. Ain't nothing to think about. Like, it's quite obvious, you know? And the fact that we're sitting up here still talking about this brother trying to defend, this is no different than the Trump supporters. Like, people still trying to defend, you know? Because the way that, like, the material is presented. If he presented the material in a receptive way, he would just be like anybody else that's walking this earth right now. The fact that Kevin Samuels now is emerging as a virtual household name. Why, Sway? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, how, Sway? Like this is, I don't care. He has an audience that he caters to, and it's entertainment. He's get paid. People pay him in order to come talk. I just know I'm not that. That's no different than people going on talk shows. I don't care. What we're talking about, Jay. Like, folks been going on talk shows, Springer, Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake, all type of shit for fucking years, man. It ain't nothing. Oprah, we go down the list. Sally Jesse Raphael, all these shows. Donahue. It's like, man, people go on these shows, right?
But why is it that
different that is virtual versus being on?
But why is it that women taking it so personal then? If it's just a show.
Oh, I don't watch this show.
No, I said, why is it that women are taking it personal?
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
I don't know. I think it would be good to ask a woman why they take it personal. I mean, I think that my issue is with delivery. I don't even know if that's their issue with his delivery. You know, it may be the way he looked. Folks looking at before and after pictures, like 10-year challenge pictures of him. I don't care about dude LeBron's hairline or anything or whatever he got, the snatch off, whatever the hell. Like, it doesn't even matter. But now you're trying to tear down this man, you know, a character. So that's the thing. He's created a character. And what do people do? They tear it down, man. Let that brother get his money. But am I watching this show? No. I'm not part of his audience. So the thing is like, I don't hear him, not because he's not making sense, but the same reason I don't watch a bunch of other shows like his. I don't need to, if I need some relationship advice, I'm not about to call in to a stranger. I just won't. I will probably ask somebody as she knows my personality to kind of get some insight and some context. That's the part that's crazy. Folks talking about Kevin Samuels. What about the people that's calling in? It's like, man, you gotta pay somebody that you calling in and begging for them to tell you, hell, pay me. Pay me. Pay JL, pay Lapeef. Pay us right now. Run the check. Cash app us right now. If that's the case, if you're gonna pay money just to get some advice.
Okay. They pay to get on his show. That's another component.
Go seek therapy then. I'm done.
Anton, coming to you. I'm about to stir the pot right now. Why is it that people are so angry with Kevin Samuels?
Because they're weak. and the truth hurt. And it's a problem whenever you start to ask people to validate who you are. So a lot of times when you see
And you
people
know what?
get
That's that
emotional,
Trump shit, man. That's the same. Like that's the same thing. Folks sitting up here. I'll let you talk. I'm
often,
sorry. I apologize.
oftentimes, B Nix, you yourself say, "Oh, I don't identify as a high value man. I don't fit that narrative." Thus, the reason why you don't understand and can't communicate effectively as it relates to how Kevin Samuel speaks and what it is that he refers to, because he's speaking to a specific audience. He's speaking to people like me, very high value men, very men that generate a certain level of
I don't
income,
care.
that operate and move a certain type of way in their mindset. And so the thing that I've come to understand is that it ain't for everybody, because you got to have a certain type of ear and you got to be a certain type of people to understand what he's saying. Most people are emotional. A lot of guys are emotional. Women are obviously emotional, but a lot of guys are emotional, and so they're unable to take away their feelings in order to come to an objective truth. And an objective truth is that men very much think this way. That's in a certain bracket, and you can't dispute it just because you feel like it or it doesn't make you feel good. The way to get to the other side of happiness and growth is to get over yourself and start to actually look at what he's saying and apply some of these principles to actually help you become a more valuable person. Even if you in a great space, even if you're doing well, and I'm speaking for, like, let's just say women, for example, right? Let's say they was able to get a man or whatever. Don't you want to be like even greater? Don't you want to use anything that you can in order to continue to elevate yourself? Do you care about the vessel or do you care about the results? And so most of us, people that think like me, we care about the results. We don't care who's saying it. We don't care how they make us feel when they say it. We just care about winning. And if winning is the objective, then you do what you can. You have a Jordan mentality. You use certain things to propel you to be great. And I don't expect other type of dudes to understand how it is that Kevin Samuels talk. I don't expect other type of dudes to be able to rock and move the way that I move, because if they was, then they would be in a position that I'm in anyway. And so it's always going to be winners. It's always going to be losers. And I understand that losers want to make themselves feel good. They want participation trophies. They want to be validated. They want other people to agree with them. But when it comes down to real results and you really separating yourself and being able to say who is the winner and who is the loser, there's clear people in the conversation, and that's Kevin Samuel's audience. It's not for everybody. So you just got to stop explaining it to them and let them be less than, let them be beta males, let them be whatever they're going to be.
Tawana, coming to you next. Why are people so angry with Kevin Samuels?
Well, let me say this. My post was not directed at Kevin Samuels. My post was speaking about the women who validate him and support him, because I do feel that they are the problem. Kevin Samuels has his opinion. His opinion, some of it is based in statistical data. Some of it is just hot air that he blows up people's ass. And I think that women who validate him are the problem. I have no issue with his perspective on what he feels the small segment of people he interact with wants in a woman. I think that what the problem is for me is the women who think there's some validity to what he says and takes his word at face value. And also me personally, I care about who's giving me the information. I care about who's pouring the information into me. So that all makes a difference for me. So if you're a man who hasn't ever been in a successful relationship, if you're a man who can't demonstrate a healthy relationship with other women, but yet you want to teach me about why should I even listen to what you think I need to do in order to obtain a man? So like, that is my concern, is even people who validate people like Steve Harvey or other people, I always wonder, what exactly is your reasoning for feeling like you need some man to tell you how to get a man? Like, he's not a woman. He can't tell you what we need to do in order to please a man, get a man. Women, we know how to do that naturally. We don't need any man to direct us and tell us that stuff. So for the fact that women feel like they need to have this validation from men, it really bothers me completely. So what I did was I posed that question: what woman who ain't single and ain't miserable in life even thinks that he says anything that I was really asking, like, I really wanted to hear a woman who really was in a happy, healthy relationship, loving her man, ready for marriage, that really thought that there was some validity to what he said, that really had, a perspective. And no woman really stepped up to say, yeah, you know what? I listened to him and he really does give me great advice. I think that a lot of the women who listen to him, and I think that is who he target. He want these single women, right? That's like, that really is like, want to get married. They have all these expectations and they really just don't know what they're doing wrong. And so they're looking for men. They're looking for validation from other people. They want him to accept them. They want him to validate them. And that's what they call him for. And I think that's pretty sad. Like, I think that is the lowest thing you could do. And that's just my opinion. So I was really trying to get some perspective on what woman in her right mind would listen to a man who is telling her these things and really criticizing how she looks based on shallow things, right? Because he asks really shallow questions. What's your dress size? How you look? This, that, and the third. He rates people on all these little shallow physical characteristics, and then he talks about men as if you guys have no depth to you. You guys don't think about anything besides physical appearances and physical attributes that have absolutely nothing to do with who that person is. And I just know many men, and that just is not the way all men are. So he speaks from this absolute perspective, and that is really problematic for me, especially when it comes to women who I see calling in, constantly validating him. That's all I'm saying. That was my perspective.
Hey, I got a question. I just thought is Kevin Samuels married, or he's been married before?
He's been married before.
Twice. He's been married twice, and he's divorced twice. And so, just me personally, it's like, you can tell me
people want
how to be in successful relationships with people.
It is amazing.
It doesn't sound like he knows how to have healthy communication with any human being. Just the way he speaks. And I told, just like B-Nix was saying, the way he speaks to people, he has no idea how to have healthy communication. And to me, if he offered a different alternative and he said to them, look, he's trying to humble women. I get that. He's trying to humble the women that he speaks to. He's also trying to humble the men that they call in as well. And he gives them this perspective like, look, this is what you want. This is unrealistic. And so people try to explain the premise of the show to me, and I get it. It's not hard. It's not hard to understand his concept and what he's trying to do. The problem is that he does all of that. He's like asking them, but then he doesn't tell them anything different. He doesn't say, maybe you should consider this, right? Because this is not the right option. So that's why I don't respect what he says. That's why I can't deal with him. He tells women that they have no other option, which I disagree with. Maybe the option is not what they want, but that doesn't mean that they don't have other options. And so, I cannot validate him, and no, I cannot respect anyone who does. So yeah, that's my personal opinion. Do I think Kevin Samuels is a bad guy? No. Do I think that everything he says is stupid? Absolutely not. But what I do think is the women who validate him got some serious issues. That's what I think.
Have you ever watched the whole show?
I've watched several, because actually
the whole show from beginning to end,
like the entire show. I've watched several things that have been not just posted in our group, but like I follow Kevin Samuels now because we've talked about him so much and gave him so much of a platform. And now I have to do that. So then his little shows pop up, and so then I'll listen to them and I hear his conversations. I understand what he's trying to do. Like I said, it's not difficult to comprehend that. Am I going to give any respect to that approach? No. Do I think that he's telling a truth? No, I think it's opinion. And I hate when people keep saying it's truth. This is his truth. No, it's not truth. Just because I have a subset of people that can validate whatever it is that I'm saying does not mean it's truth. It's my opinion. It's my experience.
All right. So how can you tell us what our truth is?
Listen, truth is subjective, I guess. So if that's what we're going to go with,
what?
That truth is subjective. Because for him to tell somebody they're going to die alone when he doesn't know the outcome of her life, and I believe only one person or one being in this world knows that, is truth to you guys. That makes absolutely no sense to me. For you to think that someone can tell you your destiny that don't know you. He met her in a conversation. He knows just as much about her as I know, but tell her what the outcome of her life is going to be.
I mean, hey, JR, can we, hey, honestly, I want to say, like, hey, after this, man, we ain't even got to talk about Buddy.
Why are we talking about this?
You know what?
Just because it makes you uncomfortable,
it's entertainment, man.
Don't mean that we're not going to talk about it.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable.
It's just no different than you talking about the American.
I'm never going to.
Like, I don't feel moved. Like, I sit up here on these shows with y'all, man. And the thing is, I watch Buddy's show. That's his opinion. I've been pretty consistent. The thing is, I said that, like, hey, his delivery is poor. I look at everybody that's an orator to see how they speak to people. The thing is, like, hey, it couldn't be me to call up his show, but both me and you agreeing on this, Anton. So I'm not beefing with you. We both agree. He represents a certain audience. I am able to own how I feel that Buddy ain't more audience, man. But we can't sit up here and act like it's just only a certain type of man or woman that exists in this world. Like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not binary. It's not either or. It's like, bro, it's just
all men are the same to him.
Hey, let that man live. That's cool.
That's how I know that either she wasn't paying attention while she was watching the show, or she didn't watch the whole show, because he never says that. He never speaks from the perspective of all men are the same. Specifically, and it's funny, you know what's so tripped out there?
I understand he defines the difference between high value men. I understand that. Okay, I have watched this damn show. He has given all these definitions. He is the label maker. I get it. I do not think this man has one valid point. Okay, it's an opinion. Cool. Everybody can respect his opinion, just like Steve Harvey has millions of women who think he is the most fantastic person in the world. Everyone has somebody to follow them.
Again, so
that's what it is.
I mean, we just talk like Anthony mentioned about high value men, right? The thing is, you talked about it's a certain percentage, right? I forgot what you said a few shows back. It's a certain percentage, right, of high value men that exists or something.
But you said
it's 5 to 10% in African Americans, but over in the entire world is 3%. 3% of the population is whatever he considers high value, right? But he also talks about 6 figures. So he doesn't just talk about these high value men with these high earners. He talks about these 6-figure men who make 6 figures, what type of women they like and what type of situations they would be in and put themselves in. And so, I just don't. I mean, I just know so many stories that's against his entire theory. It just makes no sense to me.
Hey, low key,
hold on, Nick. Go ahead.
Half the women that calling in, I don't want them either. You know.
And hey, Nick, hold on for a second, Nick. Hold on for Nick. Go ahead, Anton.
He has an audience that he targets.
They are, bro.
Let him target that people.
Go ahead, Anton. What was you gonna say?
So it's funny because I was talking with my homegirl the other day, and her best friend was, I'm not even gonna say the one, because I shouldn't even be saying this real talk, but her best friend is one of the girls that called in that people were up in arms about on her behalf and all of that other type of stuff. And so I talked to her on the phone or whatever like that, the best friend, the girl that was actually on Kevin Samuel's show. And what she wound up admitting offline was that it was a bunch of women that was contacting her like, yes, girl, like, yeah, you really showed him and stuff like that. But then when she really sat with herself and she looked in the mirror, she realized that a lot of the stuff that she was portraying was false because everybody else was trying to validate her in her life instead of telling her the truth, which is actually the reason why she was prompted to call a show, or not call a show, but go on Instagram Live with him. And so she said that when she finally sat with herself, she was honest about the fact that she's used to being around people that validate her and try to make her feel good about herself instead of actually tell her the truth in order to get her to be the person to be the best version of herself so that she can get what she wants, which is the reason why she called in the show in the first place. Was she has these goals, she has preferences, and so she was unwilling to do the work until she actually had a conversation with him. So when I hear people like Tawana and B Nick saying, yo, I don't get him, and I think that he's wrong, and I don't like the way he talked. Well, apparently the very person that he was talking about that y'all speak to, that women call and try to validate themselves, is saying something completely different. And I'm more than willing to ask her if she want to participate on this show and all of that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's
hold on.
I never said that. I said that I don't validate him.
Go ahead, Anton.
More than willing to ask her at some point if she's willing to participate on the show, because it's so many people that's speaking from their perspective, but they got so much opinion about somebody that they don't care about. And usually when it's only the hit dog that hollers, bro. So when you see all of these people getting all up in arms, you know it actually resonates with them, regardless of whether or not they're going to admit it or not on here. And again, weak people make weak opinions, and they make excuses as to why they can't do the work and get to where it is that they need to be. That's really what it comes down to, bro.
Hey, Nick, I want to ask you a question. So a woman that is she's divorced. She has 2 baby fathers. She's 35. And she's looking to date. Did her value go down because of that?
Yeah, I want to say because some people don't want someone that already got kids or somebody that already has been divorced. It's like it's a strike, you know, not to say it's 3 strikes, but I think people do have strikes. They have a criteria in which they engage with people. So okay, you can say that, but you can say the same thing for a man too.
Hold on. I also want to ask you this: like, do you think that it's harder for women that are 35 and up to date to find love versus a man that's 35 and up?
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the show. I think the window is different. You know
why?
Half of it is based on looks. You know,
this is making him so uncomfortable. He don't want to admit everything he's saying, but he knows it's true.
No, I mean, it is. I know these all slanted questions because y'all always ask me questions. I never get to ask y'all questions. So
you can ask those questions after this. Go ahead and finish that and then ask us some questions.
Yeah, because the society we live in, bro. Because the thing is, it is one of those, like, there's a window. Because the level, like, we talked about this last time. Like, hey, a 55-year-old man, sugar daddy, zaddy, whatever y'all call him, yeah, he could reach back to a young head, get him a little 25-year-old, they go on a trip. I'll pay for it. The thing is, hey, is a 55-year-old looking for another 55-year-old woman to be with? I think in some cases, yeah, I got a few friends that are like, hey, they don't want nobody young. They want somebody in their range, their age group. But I think that we all have criteria. So the window is different for women, because men still look at women as far as the vitality of the reproductive aspect of a woman being able to still bear their children, and the way you look. Men are very much physical creatures. Not to say women aren't, but men look at women based on physicality, whether I engage in the conversation or not. We had Shawty Andrea on the show last week, and she was saying like half the people, like, unless you already got pre-existing relationship with somebody, that is like y'all just understand each other. If I see you in the street, I'm not going to say, oh, I see this woman in the street, she looks like she has a great mind. It doesn't work like that, man. So it's about, and I think women don't judge.
I'm about to go get the rollies.
Off, bro. See,
I'm about to go get the rollies for this, bro.
Hey, can I talk? Can I talk?
Yeah, I'm going to let Nick let his emotions come down while I go get the rollies.
See, I don't care. Anytime that Anton, I say some shit that you don't quite agree with, then you get big mad about it, man. But the thing is, it's true.
I'm rich. I don't have to be mad.
I'm not rich. So that's the thing. Like,
I know. That's what the difference is, levels.
We're different. We're different, bro. So I'm not about to sit up on this show on some whole shit like, hey, me and you represent different group of people, man. Well, I don't know why he left, but nonetheless, like the thing is, like, bro, women that call up there, that's cool. That's them. But there are also women who not about to call in and pay to get advice on a TV show.
Not me.
So it's
Ever.
like, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that, like,
For you to tell me that
everything,
I
all
can't do
women.
something that I've done in my life several times. Shut up, boy. All right.
Hey, Anton, come back if you there, because I was still talking. But I mean,
Well, he's a classic. He can say what he want to say, but you can't say what you want.
So the question, JR, that you asked me, the value goes down. The value goes down on everybody as we get older. Period.
Right.
Y'all love to rate. Y'all love to rate people, humans.
I know you asked me about women. So does the value go down?
They love to rate humans. Why are y'all rating people? I'm telling you what's so important.
I think it's just the reality of it.
What's so important about putting a number to a human being?
Anton,
I mean, I'm just trying to understand that.
I don't even know what that is, man.
Can you tell me what's so important?
Levels to this.
I don't care. All right, what that got to do with the topic? Like, what is that anyway? I don't care. You're trying to with this show and tell, like, dude.
No, I'm feeling good about myself, so I feel like I need to put on a whole nother.
Phoenix, I don't think that they pay people.
What are we doing? Hey, JR, what are we doing here, man? Like, we talk about. So, all right, you got to watch.
It's like a
Rolex. I don't care.
No, I got 3. It's a difference.
What?
We all fit.
I don't got none of them. See, Anton. Hey, it's not even about I don't care. The thing is, between me and you represent something different that I ain't about, man. The thing is, like, you sit up here on this show, and every time we talk, you gotta talk about your money, your investments, where you done travel, all that. And that's good for you, brother. I ain't got nothing against that. But the thing is, that ain't me. So I can't sit up here and act like the shit is.
JRU is crazy.
Hey, low key, that's how niggas be getting robbed, man. See, doing this dumb shit, man. Like,
seriously.
So, like, JR, hey, give me another
I'm a
humble
person.
I'm done with this, I don't care. No, I ain't got the time at this point. Like,
you know.
Hey, next topic, bro. Like, cause this Anton, bro.
Thank you, Nicole.
What are you trying to prove, man? I don't even know what direction you going in right now.
You know what be next? It's a classic.
I mean, Anton, if that's your rebuttal,
I don't even want to call it.
If that's your rebuttal to about the value, because the thing is, yeah, you're right.
I don't have to rebuttal. My rebuttal is I'm winning in life, and everything that I can attest to the fact that everything that he's saying. I'm gonna leave this.
We still talking Kevin Samuels, man.
I can attest to the fact that everything that he's saying is
blah blah blah.
I am a reflection of somebody that's a winner and an alpha male that picks and chooses and does what I want, and I dictate the narrative. So I don't have to have a verbal rebuttal. I'm a winner.
I hear you, Anton.
I hope that all Kevin Samuels fans
are
exactly
what I'm talking about, man. the delivery of which, because you're very
clearly
bright,
me and B Nicks are not his fans.
You're a very bright brother, but the way you deliver this information in order to prove a point, and it's not me. I'm sure somebody out there that's not gonna comment. There's like they're not gonna resonate with what you're talking about. If that's what they aspire to be and to do and to be like.
Well, if they suffer from Napoleon complex as well, they might. I don't know. Y'all are funny to me. Oh my goodness, this is fun. Okay, me and B Nicks are not Kevin Samuel fans. You and JR are. Let's go. I don't need to marry a homeless dude because
I want to be clear.
My man got he's straight.
Money
I don't know what to tell y'all.
If that's how Kevin Samuels has to be able to monitor his image, so be it. Good for him, man. Is he doing anything any different than me? Maybe so. He got his own show and stuff, and we doing Lapeef. So I don't got people coming.
Listen, he got a following. It's people who like him. Hey, it's our opinion. It's our opinion. I can say that I don't like people who validate him.
I've always said, not with you, but with specifically with Kevin Samuels, his information. I'm not in disagreement wholeheartedly with everything he's saying. I have issue with you all, like about language and delivery. For me, that's a pet peeve of mine, man. Because the way that Kevin Samuels or anyone else talks, I would get fired at my job. And if we talk about that's his workplace, I can't talk to people the way Kevin Samuels talk to people, right? And the thing is, I don't see why people will be comfortable allowing themselves to be spoken to in that manner. Even if he's telling, because your point, you're just looking at the outcome, the truth, where he's telling the truth. I get all that. But still, there's a level of respectability, us as adults, on how you communicate. That's my issue. And I've been very clear. We're not just with him, with you and everybody about it. What's appropriate language? So the thing is, that behavior, that's for that audience. You can say the same thing about rap music, right? You may say like, hey, I don't like music with people cussing and stuff. That's that audience. Don't listen
What
to it.
are you
If
talking
you don't
about,
like
bro?
Huh?
I agree with you.
What are you talking about? What are you talking
I'll bring
about,
a different
man? Come on, come on.
perspective
talking about
Yes. What are you?
The question was what we started off about Kevin Samuels, right? The issue is delivery of content, man. And that has always been my core. You could go back to them old shows that we've talked about this before. You can't talk to people like in this like, because the thing is, people justify. They're like, well, I told the truth.
Yeah.
You know, so that means I get to cuss you out then, right? Because that's just the way I felt. It's a level of social emotional intelligence that folks don't secure within themselves in order how they communicate with each other. That's why the world is so crazy right now, man, because of stuff like this. So if we sitting up here and acting blind to the larger issue about how we communicate with folks, hey, bro, hey, on everything I love, man, that's how folks care. Hey, motherfucker, put that pole on you, man. Like, I don't care. That's how folks get ran up on, man. Seriously, bro. You don't even like see. I almost feel like you not being in Chicago. You don't understand the climate folks live in, man.
I think that it's always going to be two sides, right? It's always going to be some people who support Kevin Samuels.
Are you really?
There's going to be people who don't, and I think we just got to respect that balance, right? Because there are people who don't relate to what Kevin Samuels says, and there's people who do. And it's okay to relate. And actually,
Nick's want to pull a pole out on me now because I'm stunned.
But two guys in the group really changed my perspective on Kevin Samuels.
Next topic, bro?
Yeah, I guess we can switch.